This episode contains discussions of war, death, political betrayal, and morally grey leadership. Listener discretion is advised. They come from different worlds, yet their paths are carved from the same cold stone. Geralt of Rivia, the Witcher, wanderer, weapon, made, not born, forged in the fires of alchemy and fate. He hunts what others fear, kills what most cannot see, and carries the weight of the innocent and damned alike. His destiny is not chosen, but endured. Aragorn, strider, ranger, reluctant king, hidden from power, raised in shadow, and tested by the long silence of exile. He is the blade of the West, sharpened by purpose, and tempered by loss, called to unite a world divided by pride and fear. One was made to fight monsters, the other was born to fight for men. Both walk alone. Both bear swords that carry centuries of blood and burden. But tonight the path narrows. The wilds fade. The crown and contract collide. In this crucible, prophecy bows to purpose. Steel meets silence, and only one will emerge from the mists of war. Two warriors, two desires, one reckoning. Welcome to Season 2 of Chaos Crucible, where warriors are tested, legends are reforged, and the only rule is this: there are no rules. Last season, we saw vengeance boil over. Gods fell, hackers struck, assassins burned their names in history. But this time we go deeper, into bloodlines, into lost thrones, into destinies that refuse to be denied. This is the season of legacy, of power claimed, denied, and resurrected, where monsters wear crowns and heroes hide in the dark. So sharpen your steel, trust no fate, and remember, when it is all said and done, chaos decides. Every legend begins with an origin, but not all origins are noble. Some are forged in prophecy, others in pain. Let's start with Geralt of Rivia. A name whispered in taverns, etched into bounty boards, and carried in the mouths of terrified villagers. But Geralt wasn't born into legend. He was taken. By the ancient law of surprise, a child is claimed as payment for a life debt. Geralt was that child, torn from his home, his family, and any chance at a normal life. He was delivered to Kaer Morhen, the Witcher's stronghold. There, he endured brutal training from a young age, relentless sword drills, studies in herb lore and monster anatomy, and survival in the harshest conditions. But that was only the beginning. To become a Witcher, Geralt faced the trials of grasses. This deadly alchemy process mutated his body, granting him enhanced reflexes, superhuman strength, heightened senses, and resistance to poison. Most who underwent the trial died. Geralt, though, survived. But survival came at a cost. His emotions dulled, his humanity fractured. Pain became something internal, and always carried, but rarely shown. And yet, despite all that, Geralt held on to something rare. He didn't become a monster. He became a weapon with a conscience. A professional who followed a personal code. He took payment, yes, but he also showed mercy. He hunted monsters, but didn't always kill. He lived in solitude, but never lost his empathy entirely. He didn't want to be a hero. He didn't even believe in them. But in a world where monsters wear many faces, Geralt became something else, a necessary force. Now turn to Aragorn, son of Arathorn, a man born into legacy, but hidden from it for his own protection. After his father's death, Aragorn was taken to Rivendell and raised under the care of Elrond. There, he was given a new name, Estelle, meaning hope, to shield his true identity as the last heir of Isildur. He was a king by blood. He grew up without a throne, without a crown, and without expectation. He was taught by the elves, schooled in lore, diplomacy, healing, and the art of war. He learned not just how to fight, but when to hold back. Not just how to lead, but how to serve. When the time came to step into the world, Aragorn did not return as a prince. He became a ranger, a silent guardian in the wild, a man who protected others without ever seeking glory. He resisted the call of power, even when destiny whispered to him through ancient swords and broken kingdoms. He chose the long road, and when the world needed a leader, he didn't hesitate. He rose. So the advantage here is a draw. Geralt was shaped by suffering, Aragorn by patience and purpose. One became a legend in the shadows, the other became a king in the light. Different worlds, different trials, but both became exactly what their broken lands required. Geralt's training is as relentless as the monsters he faces. His swordsmanship is second to none, refined through years of brutal combat. But it doesn't stop at the blade. He is a master of alchemy, brewing powerful potions, oils, and decoctions that enhance his body and mind. These concoctions increase his strength, speed, endurance, and even perception, but they come at a cost. Many are toxic and deadly to ordinary humans. Geralt endures them through sheer will and mutation. He also commands the signs, simple but effective forms of combat magic. Ard unleashes a concussive blast that can send enemies flying. Igni conjures fire in his palm, scorching those too close. Quen forms a protective barrier. Axi can influence the mind of the others. And Yrden traps magical creatures within a field of slow, weakening energy. This is more than fighting. It's tactical adaptation. Geralt learns every opponent, monstrous or human, before engaging. Every fight is calculated, every movement purposeful. He is fast, precise, and unrelenting. But Aragorn is no less formidable. Raised by the elves, trained in both wisdom and war, he is a master of tracking, survival, healing, and swordsmanship. He can read terrain like a book, track enemies and cross impossible distances, and use the land to his advantage. He understands the rhythm of battle and the hearts of men. He has led forces into war, fought alongside the Fellowship, and faced creatures most would flee from. He may not have magic, but his willpower often feels supernatural. He fights with endurance, resolve, and experience. Drawn from years of walking the wilds, commanding armies, and bearing the burdens of a kingdom not yet his. But the advantage here goes to Geralt. Aragorn was trained to lead in war. Geralt was trained to end lives in moments. One commands armies. The other breaks monsters with blade, mind, and magic. In a duel, without allies or terrain, technique and reflex decide the outcome. And there, the Witcher holds the edge. A warrior is as only good as the tools they wield, and the mind behind them. Geralt of Rivia carries two blades. One is forged from steel, meant for fighting men. The other is made of silver, crafted for slaying monsters. Both are balanced, lightweight, and built for precision. They aren't just weapons. They are extensions of him. Every strike, every parry, every movement is part of a rhythm he has honed over decades of brutal survival. But Geralt's strength doesn't come from steel alone. He prepares. He studies his enemies. He coats his blade with specialized oils that can poison, burn, or weaken specific types of creatures. Before many battles, he drinks potions that heighten his reflexes, enhance his night vision, or extend his stamina. These concoctions push his body to the brink of collapse, but in return, they give him an edge no ordinary fighter could match. Then there are the signs. Simple, focused bursts of combat magic. In combat, Geralt blends swordplay with these abilities, shifting between steel and sorcery in a seamless flow. He doesn't just overpower his opponents, he outthinks them. His entire style is built around speed and precision. He dodges, he counters, he waits for the exact right moment to strike. He rarely attacks without a plan. He wins by reading his opponents and making every motion count. Aragorn's weapon of choice is Andúril, the Flame of the West, reforged from the shards of Narsil. It is more than just a sword. It is a legacy reborn. It is sharp, powerful, and radiant, capable of cutting through steel and igniting courage in those who follow him. Its very presence on the battlefield inspires hope, but Aragorn's greatest strength lies in how he uses it. He is a battlefield commander. He knows how to adapt. He can read the flow of combat like a seasoned tactician. He understands when to press forward, when to fall back, and how to shift momentum. He leads from the front, not with orders, but by example. His tactics reflect that of a leader and a survivor. He doesn't fight recklessly. He fights with purpose. His movements are grounded in years of experience, discipline, and the burden of responsibility. He has endured losses, carried weight most men would crumble under, and still presses forward. But there is a difference between leading an army and standing alone, between commanding the tides of war and surviving a single duel. Geralt operates in isolation. He is a lone hunter. His style and instincts are tailored for one-on-one encounters. Aragorn is at his best when others are beside him, when there is a cause, a banner, or people to fight for. Take away his army, remove the battlefield, stripped everything down to instinct, reflex, and steel, and the advantage shifts. The advantage here goes to Geralt. Geralt doesn't bring banners or oaths to the fight. He brings blade, blood, and calculation. Aragorn's sword carries a kingdom's legacy. Geralt has slain things that crawl through the nightmares. When the battle is personal, when there's no one left to lead, the white wolf is already home. This isn't a story about good or evil. It's about survival, about instinct, about what happens when purpose meets power in its rarest form. Geralt is a duelist, a monster slayer, a hunter of nightmare and ghosts. He thrives in close combat, adapts on the fly, and uses every tool at his disposal. His life is a cycle of kill or be killed, and he has mastered the rhythm. Aragorn is a leader, a beacon, a man who brings hope by the hopeless, and strength to the weary. He fights with valor and vision. His victories are not just for himself, but for the world he protects. If this were a war, Aragorn might win. But this is not a war. This is a duel. One blade, one opening, one chance to walk away. And your winner here is Geralt of Rivia. Kings may rise, crowns may fall, but monsters, no matter their shape or size, all fear one name. And it isn't Isildur's heir. It's Geralt of Rivia. Two warriors, two worlds, one final silence after the sword stops singing. Geralt of Rivia walks away, not because he wanted to win, but because he had no other choice. Victory for him is survival. It has always been. Aragorn would have fought with honor. He always does. But in the end, honor doesn't shield you from a blade drawn in silence, and destiny doesn't guarantee you victory. Only readiness does. This wasn't a battle between good and evil. It was a reckoning between duty and instinct. One led armies, one walked alone, but both carried the weight of entire worlds on their shoulders. And that's what makes them legends. Thank you for joining us for the Season 2 premiere of Revenge and Madness, Chaos Crucible. Next time, we pit another icon of legacy against the fire of vengeance. The battlefield grows colder, the shadows stretch longer, and the next legend steps forward. Until then, choose your path wisely and always keep your sword close.